Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
All righty. So we're going to get right into what it looks like here to set up the intraday modes. So give me a second here. We got it pulled up. All right. I'm going to share my screen with you all. And we are going to get into talking about it here. So first thing, you'll come in here. You'll obviously have the ability to have your live account, demo account. I'm going to go ahead and hit hide all pairs here. Euro USD does not want to hide for me. That's okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the actual intraday modes. So what you're going to see here is two modes. You'll see skip a level right here below, and you'll see instant entry. And then for both strategies, you're going to choose between these pairs. There's 6 pairs you can choose from. On skip a level, you can scan all 6, but only trade 3 at max at the same time. On instant entry, depending on your balance, you're going to choose 1, 2, or 3 pairs. Just for the sake of it, we're going to go through both modes and what the setup process looks like, because it's very simple, it's very quick, it's very painless to get started with any of the intraday modes that do exist. Now, I will remind everyone, intraday modes are known as a more hands-on strategy because you are not getting as precise of entries in the market. You are taking a lot more trades and have more exposure to the market than precision modes. Now, there are many weeks where the precision modes, which GearBox offers, can be slow and potentially not even take a trade. Now, we don't know what weeks those are going to be, but during weeks like that, sometimes, if midweek the market's looking really slow and consolidated, I know some people that do switch to intraday modes. The main thing that a lot of people do is they have 2 licenses. They have 2 GearBox accounts. They have one for intraday strategy and one for precision strategy. That way their eggs aren't all in one basket, as well as other licenses to use any of our other amazing products here at Auvoria Prime. But the point is, I do think both modes are amazing, but I do not think anyone should use just one mode over the other. And if you were going to use one mode over the other, my choice is always going to be precision mode because it's going to be the safest for your capital. Now, when it comes to getting, consistent profits and also having the potential to see a lot more trades, intraday is going to be that extra fit. So let's just get into setting up, the instant entry strategy. Now, obviously, if you only have $1,000, you're only going to want to use 1 pair. If you have $2,000, you're going to want to use 2 pairs. And if you have $3,000, you're going to be able to choose 3 pairs. Same goes for skip a level. Balances below 1K, 1 to 2 max pairs trading at a single time. If you were ever going to use a $500 balance, 1 pair max trading at the same time. Now, I don't recommend even doing that. It's highly risky. And we'll talk about it on the calculator here in a little on why there is a risk there in using smaller balances with intraday mode. Intraday mode is truthfully better for larger balances, and precision is better for smaller balances and also great for big balances. But intraday can really be a shining star if you have some capital to play with, just because of the lot size and the risk and the exposure based on these settings and the strategies within. Now let's just go ahead and type in all these pairs here. We already have Euro USD, so now we're going to add in to our market watch window these pairs. So I'm just going to go like this. Oops, I don't want the mini. If you see mini there, you don't want the mini. You just, unless you're using mini pairs, but I don't think many people are. But we'll just come over here. Delete the mini. Delete. All right, now that we have those added, again, if you were using the instant entry strategy, you can choose any of these. Obviously, you can see this demo balance here is $92,000. So we can use any of the three that we want to. Now, if you only, again, had $1,000, you'd only open one pair. If you had 2,000, you'd open two. And for my instant entry strategy, I'm going to choose these three. And you might be asking why. There's a bit of reasoning here. The first reasoning is Euro USD has never led me wrong with this strategy. And NZD CHF and CAD CHF, I ran forward testing with these two pairs, as well as GBP USD as a third pair. GBP USD did terrible on the instant entry strategy. It took massive stop losses all the time. But NZD CHF and CAD CHF constantly were doing great. And to give you some further data on, how I came up with some of these pairs and looked at the data, this is what's known as the average daily range. So this is the average daily range in which different currency pairs have moved over time, right? So in 2014, AUD CAD on average moved 76 pips per day, right? In 2020, it moved 80 pips per day. And I kind of studied these numbers through time and looked at the last 6 years, as well as organized it like this to see what was most volatile, second most volatile, and kind of made a lot of decisions based on that, as well as forward testing data to find pairs that fit this strategy and, tend to not have large trending moves. They play in ranges, which are great for the instant or skip a level strategies because the strategies are really designed for ranging markets. So we've opened up those. Next thing, as always, I'm going to open up my GearBox manager and just throw XAU here. And here's our GearBox manager. We're just going to throw her on. We don't have to worry about any of those settings right now besides our lot size. So if we came in here, obviously, again, lot size 0.01 per 3,000. So this is a $92,000 balance. So we're going to go with a 0.3 starting lot size. Everything else, you can ignore the gears above, as these are going to apply based on whatever strategy you choose. You can choose to turn on or off the correlation filter. I'm personally always going to leave the correlation filter on. It's exactly why I built it, to protect you and your capital. And if you want to raise your balance protections or notifications of drawdown or lower them, you can, as well as your max equity risk is by default at 100, meaning it will allow you to use all your capital if you need to, but the other threshold is it will stop taking any new trades at 25% drawdown. But you can just go ahead and hit OK. And now all you would have to do to set up your instant entry strategy is go ahead and hit instant entry here. There must have been a second chart open with Euro USD. Yeah, it was there. It did exist. That's why it wouldn't let me hide it. But now they're all set up. Perfect. And now you're good to go. And obviously, instant entry means it will instantly start taking trades. Since we are using the GearBox manager, it will take about 5 minutes and it'll start taking trades, as the manager is actually running all the calculations within this manager instead of each individual gearbox. And you may be asking why that is. And the reason for that is going to be because we're using what's known as master mode. Use manager as master. And by doing this, it just makes GearBox overall faster and allows you to run more gearboxes on a VPS. As if you start opening a lot of charts, and there you go, you see it started taking trades instantly right there, level 0. The reason Euro USD didn't is it kicked it off when I applied the strategy. Now it's on. There we go. So Euro USD will kick off the trade any second. And that's your instant entry strategy. Now, skip a level. All you would do is you would open up all of these as well. So we didn't open up AUD NZD. We did not open up USD CAD. And we did not open up Euro JPY. Go ahead, hit this button again, organize them. We're going to put them all in the daily time frame. All right, now you could simply come in here and you could just hit skip a level. And now when you apply skip a level, it's going to go ahead, apply to those other charts as well. And now you are set up with intraday mode. So that's how simple it is to set up intraday modes. There's not a lot of pairs. Now, one pair I do want to review that is in our mix is USD CAD. We've been looking at this, and you can see that, well, USD CAD is kind of at a very, very low here. You know, we're going back to 2019 on this chart, and you haven't seen it that low, right? So we're talking about 2-year lows on USD CAD. And quite honestly, all of the USD pairs currently are performing in a situation, and you can ignore this weekly floating. I was using this demo account on some other things. I just wanted to use it to show intraday modes here. Now, you can see by looking at this that this is a well thought strategy. The only thing is these USD pairs are in our strategy. And to be honest, I've been really starting to study the US dollar economics and what's going on lately. And the amount of money that was printed this year in the United States does have me worried for some of the USD pairs, which are known as the Forex majors predominantly, to end up experiencing some extreme volatility this year. And because of that, they may be fits that you may want to eliminate in the near future. I haven't seen a need to fully eliminate them yet, but there is a cautious side of me that is starting to lean more away from the United States dollar pairs. And like I said, a lot of that has to do with politics, economics, amount of money being printed, spending, deficits, and it's interesting for the United States right now. And a lot of that, like I said, definitely has me on the more worried side of the USD pairs potentially having large trending moves that don't recover for possibly years. So it's just like I said, something to be cautious of, especially if using an intraday strategy and not so much a precision. And even if using precision strategies, something to maybe be cautious of too. Prior to 2021, the USD pairs were some of our favorite pairs. They were some of the most liquid pairs, and they might still be, but again, the value in which our US dollar over here is diminishing, again, has me worried for potential large trending moves in the near future on USD pairs that could go against us. And because of that, I may look to start eliminating the USD pairs from our operation in the near future. Like I said, right now, not going to so much do it, but since this is intraday call, and intraday does pose more exposure than precision typically, since it does get into trade sooner, I figured I would mention my thoughts on some of the UST news. I'm going to check out here the chat and the Q&A. Valerio. So the thing is, correlation constantly changes, and the correlation filter is not live, meaning that the data is not pulled every day. It's pulled once a week, meaning that, on say Friday evening, we pull that data and we push that data. And whatever those numbers are on the daily time frame at -85 and +85 on Friday evening that is the correlation for the entire week. So if something goes from, for example, 80% to 85% between Friday and Thursday, there is nothing currently we can actually do to catch that, as it is not live. We've been working on a way to try and find an API live version to build in, but for now, the correlation filter can only be updated once a week on Fridays. So we'll pull that data every Friday and we'll push that data. So again, if correlation does change between Friday to Friday and something now enters that 85 range, it will be affected. And one thing I will start to do is actually screenshot the correlation data and send it out as well in my traders chat at the beginning of the week, so that people can see exactly what the data is and which pair should not open, which should. So you're not guessing. You can simply see, hey, here's the data that GearBox is operating on this week, and you'll know which pairs are correlated and shouldn't take trades and which ones are. Valerio, I hope that answers your question, and I will go ahead and start sending out that correlation filter data as well with my weekly insights, so that everyone knows exactly what the filter is operating on. So that's really it when it comes to the intraday. We're going to go ahead and look at Forex Factory and talk a little bit about the news for this week. This one needs to be on daily too. There we go. Take a look at the news for this week, kind of talk again about what's happening and look at Forex Factory. So we are going to get in here into Forex Factory. And the 5th through the 12th. And what do you know? It looks like a great yellow folder week. That's what I like to see. I like yellow folders. Yellow folders tend to create more ranging conditions and less trending conditions. So we get a lot of yellow folder news here. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we get into our first red folders, and that is Canadian. Again, we can only hope that this goes in our favor on USD CAD, as we have again seen. USD CAD is in a place that it hasn't been in a long time, and in fact, let's take a deeper look at that. Just because I know that's a pair some people are somewhat concerned about. So I do want to pull her up here. And let's zoom out. So you can see we're at a very, what I would call critical point on this pair. And you might say, well, why is that considered critical? Well, if you look right here, this is a very critical line of support, to be honest, right? And you can see that if it breaks to the downside of this, there is a large fall. It's basically right now what's happening is the US dollar has been massively weakening. And even though Canada is in full lockdown and spending tons of money, the value of their currency is continuing to increase against the US dollar right now. So right now is an interesting time in the world, right? Where the US dollar is rapidly decreasing as America is opening back up. And Canada, which is going into full lockdown, is actually having their currency continue to gain value here. So interesting spot to be in, but we really need to hold this area. You can see we've been holding this. Again, we're looking at the daily time frame here, and you can see for multiple days we've been really holding in this support area, and that's a good sign. But we have, if we zoom in, we have made some lower lows every time, which again, like I said, this is something to watch. This is a pair to watch if you are trading it. For now, it's in a very dangerous spot, to be very honest. We really need to gain some strength on the USD here, and I'm hoping that that Canadian news might help us do that. And then we get into Euro. All right, Thursday we get some Euro red folder news, and we get some USD. Maybe USD can help us out as well. As for Friday, very bland. There's G7 meetings, which do affect everything, but again, it's just a yellow folder. But you do see there is a lot of yellow folder news this week. Typically, yellow folder isn't going to have as large of effect on the market. And as I mentioned, I do like yellow folder because it tends to create more ranging conditions, whereas red folders tend to create some of those larger moves or trends, which is why we look out for them. But with that being said, does anyone have any questions for me before we go? Otherwise, I appreciate every single one of you turning into the intraday call. As always, I saw some phenomenal intraday results this week in the traders chats. A lot of people who have been experiencing consolidated markets with precision modes, or maybe not getting those sniper entries, have been testing out skip a level modes and intraday modes, and seeing some success following the strategies and what we're teaching here. So that's been exciting to see. And I look forward to more people being able to use both intraday and precision modes to see success with their 2 GearBox licenses if they have it. If you are still on a bronze pass or you don't have 2 GearBoxes, I recommend upgrading to the next level access pass and trying both precision and intraday. and also looking forward to many of the phenomenal new educational products and live trade environments that we'll have coming soon here in Auvoria Prime. But with that being said, I appreciate all of you tuning into this call, and I hope that you have a phenomenal rest of your Thursday and look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's Precision Call. Have a wonderful day, everyone.